Hello, and welcome back to Curse on Dice, or possibly welcome to for the first time, because it's 100 years in the future, and someone told you this weird guy on the internet made a bunch of D&D videos with his friends, and they told you to start at 23 rather than number 1, because that happens. I did it with Critical Role.
Everything about that sounds like the darkest timeline.
It really is. Also, sorry if you hear a dog barking in the background. Mikhail really hates this puppy, and he keeps abusing him. So, I'm kidding.
Adamine tail, sledgehammer. The fact that it's still alive is honestly surprising.
I'm kidding. We're totally kidding. No animals were harmed in the making of this video.
Or before the making of this video.
Or before. Important distinction. No animals were harmed.
By us before the making of this video, because animals were obviously harmed before this video was made.
Mikhail speaks for himself, not for the viewers of the company.
Well, somewhere in Africa, an animal's getting murdered right now. Let's be honest.
I mean, all right,
20 minutes ago, somewhere in freaking New Mexico, a pig was being slaughtered, and that was before the video was being made. So
we're not the ones doing it.
Yeah, that's why you have to specify.
Really technical. I mean,
being harmed by us.
I mean, if you want to get real technical, right now a cat somewhere is killing a mouse somewhere, but whatever.
More than one cat. It's an epidemic.
Yeah, cats are the greatest plague ever. Oh my god. So, Sony loses 4 intelligence. Okay, so the second disclaimer is, if you watched the last video, you would know we have just recently got to Ravnica, with everybody's memories are totally wiped. They don't remember their previous life, which is interesting for me. And apologies, I don't know anything about Magic the Gathering other than it's a card game, and Ravnica is a setting that they put into D&D, and it seemed really interesting, and we're playing there now. So I'm sorry if I mess things up. I'm going to mispronounce things quite often, and I have completely and entirely changed the layouts of basically all the guilds' hangouts and most of the city. It's mostly a Ravnica adjacent setting, as far as I'm going. Mostly homebrew, so bear with me. It should be all right. Whatever, or don't watch. I don't care. I do this for me. Anyway,
if you don't like the way Ravnica is presented, please unsubscribe.
Or don't do that, because I can't really afford to lose anyone at 39 subscribers. But if you want to see someone who does know about Ravnica, if you want to watch something where someone does know Ravnica, best place to do it, to find someone that knows that, would be the Absolute Tabletop Official RPG group on Facebook. And I'm running out of breath every time I say that anymore. It's a long title. And so instead of typing out that title,
you gotta quit smoking crack.
Look, what I do when the camera's not on for this particular reason is my business. But if you don't want to type all that out, you'll be able to find a link in the description after we finish the video, because I am actually going to go through and catch everything up. Or so I say now, until after this video, and I'm extremely tired and don't want to do that anymore. Also, check out Connor's channel, Versatile Diecaster. Tell me what's going on your channel real quick, Connor. What you got going?
All right, so in the coming month, after all of finals and such are done, I'm going to be uploading some stuff, doing some special things for Draconica. Keep an eye out for that. I think people will enjoy.
Another cool thing, speaking of Draconica, is I just saw the Draconomicon at a local game store.
Ah, lovely.
I probably mispronounced that, but that's as close as I'm getting.
The Draconomicon.
Thank you. See, I knew I pronounced it wrong, but that's why Connor's here to correct me. When Mikhail doesn't, and when he's not beating puppies.
Oh, I almost forgot to introduce my character. It's the same one that I've been playing in literally every video I've been in on your channel. Stony Tark!
Yeah, we should actually introduce all characters, because again, people might just be coming in on this episode, which might happen. So, Mikhail, you want to tell us about your character real quick? Well, you're going to do it anyway.
I play Millie Sweetberry, who's had a much worse time here than she did elsewhere, which is pretty fucking surprising considering she lived through a plague and then went to Strahd. Oh, and she's a halfling.
And Dovin.
Hey, Delvin. Delvin's your typical half-orc warrior. Fighter, I guess you should say. He's currently a ghost. Don't know how long that's going to be, but... And an alcoholic. A raging alcoholic. And is probably in a lot of pain since he can't drink as a ghost. So, it's all for Dovin.
So, Dovin, we'll actually start with you after I get a drink, because I'm eating chips. Sorry, everyone. Dovin, the last thing you remember when you were alive was fighting in a swamp. You were battling with your chief for the right of running basically your band of your tribes people, the smaller tribes in the clans. And you were one-on-one fighting the warrior's way to take control of the tribe. And the last thing you remember is his blade piercing your gut and the swamp water filling your belly. You woke up in a strange cold, well, you don't even know if it was cold, but a strange room with frost across the ground. So I guess you would know it's cold, but you wouldn't feel it. Surrounded by a dozen or so ghosts. You remember looking around and seeing many different forms, some more lich-like, as in they're not all the way dead. Some were very clearly just a high elf, or the occasional halfling, a few humans, a minotaur even. You remember a high elf telling you, I have saved you from descending into the hell that your soul was bound for. For that, you were due service to me.
Can Dovin tell if he's a ghost or not?
Yeah,
Can he see
Dovin can look down. Dovin looks down at his hand and he can see right through it.
He's so confused. No one's going to kind of look for a door out of the room. Or just kind of around the room.
There are no doors at all in this room.
No doors. Okay.
You say, calm down, my name is Ferris. And as long as you are undead, I will be your best friend.
Are you going to make it so I can drink? Can I drink?
No.
No. Then what do you want with me?
Well, it's very simple. You're going to go back home, but in this form. And you're going to cause unrest in the tribe leaders of the clans. We have reasons to take down the Grohl clans. We're aiming for power, and we believe you're just the man to do so. It seems that's what you were already doing.
Yeah, works for me. Sounds like fun. When do we start?
Immediately. You're going to go to a centaur friend that you actually have known for a long time. Believe it or not, they're a contact for the Azora. Orzhov. The Orzhov Syndicate. His name is Volum.
Got it.
And you would know Volum is basically if clan grounds were tribe or were towns, it'd be 2 towns over. He's the leader there. Or second in charge there, sorry.
All right. Well, first thing, how do I get out of this room? Start filling on
Oh,
walls for
right.
some door.
Calm down, calm down. I forgot you don't have the sight yet. Just think happy thoughts, and you'll go up through the ceiling.
Oh, happy thoughts. Oh god, this is gonna be harder than it looks. Beer, beer, beer. Devlin's gonna start floating up.
So you start slowly floating up. First, you pass through the stone ceiling. It sounds like he's getting sterling. But I'm just gonna keep going. Sorry. First, he floats through the stone ceiling and he can see nothing. And then soon after, he finds himself in dirt. As he passes through the dirt, he sees plants, but they're glowing an ominous blue-green color. And he looks around, he sees it in total darkness. There are pipes going every which way. The humidity and broken pieces are falling towards the center of some kind of great pool in the middle of this huge cavern. And he floats up beyond that, and he comes up into sewer pipes, and he sees a group of 4 people battling some crazy cultist-looking people in what looks like BDSM clothes. He moves beyond that and comes up to the city. He realizes he's in the city. Some kind of instinct comes to him, and he thinks of home, and he is transported home. Finds himself in the swamp all the way to his hut as he passes through his own door. And I'm only going to continue if Jared's still here. So is Jared still here, or is he getting sterling?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. I'll try to chime in. If not, I'll send you a message on what I'm doing. But I should be good for a little.
Okay. So as you
Find a
pass through the
babysitter.
door, as you pass through the door, you find your wife. Oh God! You startle her. She knows you're dead. She just recently buried your body. Did not burn it in the traditional warrior way, but buried it for some strange reason. You see her as she turns, and she has her swollen belly, and she just looks excited to see you. This is your wife. She has been for some time. The one thing that truly makes you happy, other than alcohol. And with that, we're going to leave Delvin for a minute.
Alcohol and murdering. You forgot murdering.
Millie, you're in the middle of a restless night's sleep. Sorry, this is before the events of you meeting Stony. Then this is the night before. So you're having a restless night's sleep, as you often do. It's the same dream that keeps coming back to you. You're lying in a cold cave. Small cavern. No more than 10, 12 feet deep. And it is unbearably cold here. It's no more than 10 degrees. But you endured. You've lived on the streets your whole life. This is a strange place. You don't know anywhere where there's tunnels and caves like this, nor somewhere so cold. As you look out, you can just feel a sense of dread as you watch a thick fog roll across the land. So much open country is definitely something you've never seen in the city of Ravnica before. I almost said Zendikar. Every time it's the same dream. You wake up to some sort of figure in a large cloak. You see this figure put a book down next to your belongings, not taking something, but putting something down. As it looks at you as you stir, you see the glint of some kind of glasses. As it turns and disappears out of the cave, and before you can get up and try to chase it out, it's gone in the fog. And then you wake up in a sweat. When you wake up in your house, as always, you see the book laying on your dresser. No matter what you've done with it the day before, you've thrown it out the window, you've thrown it in the trash, you have set it on fire. No matter what you do, every night you have this dream, it comes back.
Creepy ass 4-eyed fucking his book.
And it says something weird about a place you've never heard of before. The The book is titled A History of Barovia. You have no idea what that is.
Cares about some place I've never been.
So probably, as usual, you toss it out the window and carry on your merry way. The events of the day happen. We lead up to you meeting Stony Tark as he leads you off to his office until he can meet up with the friend of his, Gadriel, who you are assigned to spy on. So, what do you say to this other small person? You've never seen small people other than goblins. I think we established
We've
that
already
last
had a
game.
conversation.
So
We've already had a conversation about him being a gnome and all that.
what kind of educational experience do you have, Miss Millie?
Not much of one. I can make things that melt things. I can make things that are flammable. I can steal things. I'm good at finding stuff.
Right. How did you get to become a part of the League?
Mostly the melting things. Solvents, acids, caustics,
Right.
alchemical
Why do you
formula.
want to study under Gadriel?
Nobody wants to study under Gadriel. You just end up having to study under Gadriel.
You're not wrong.
Why are you here? Mr.
Well,
Nosy Face.
Currently, I'm working on finding a scientific way to bring the dead back to life instead of having to rely on resurrection magic.
It's no weirder than anything else I've heard today, I guess. How's that going? Yeah, any corpses walking around yet?
No, but we're getting close. I can feel it.
Has it waved?
It's jolted a bit.
I mean, you could do that with a stick.
Not a stick, no.
How long is this old foot
As you
gonna...
guys, I was gonna say, as you guys are having this basically the first date conversation, Gadriel doesn't even knock. He just bursts in the door with this hunch in his creaky neck, and he shuffles slowly to the chair that Millie's sitting in. Even there's only two chairs.
Your bones creaking. All the way over here.
Who the hell are you?
Wondering how you're still alive.
Gadriel, good timing. This is Millie. She said that she was assigned to study under you.
I don't have any new understudies. Where's the paperwork?
Do I have paperwork?
Stony hands the paperwork to him.
Yeah, you had paperwork. You gave it to Stony.
That's good. I was like, did they at least give me that? Or did they send me to, and just so woefully underprepared that it was a test?
He takes it, looks it over. He closes one eye, squints the other. You see the monocle, or the right side of his glasses, zoom in on it. See him take a good 3 minutes to read the whole paper.
While he does, I kind of want to absent-mindedly look around for any kind of, speaking of acids, and pop one if I do.
Roll perception.
I'm good at that. Yay. I get to re-roll that. Yay.
I'm good at that. Natural 1.
Hey, that's pretty good. 15 plus perception would put me at Jesus, fuck, 23.
So, is there any asset? What's in your office, Stony? What would be in your office? Both related to your current study and any other private studies you have.
First, all of the shelves are reachable to me, whether with
Which makes it
mage hand or
reachable to
without.
me if I stand on my tippy toes.
With mage hand or without. So that means there are some shelves that are like the height of a normal person, and Stony just uses mage hand to get the stuff he needs from them.
Second story work for those.
He has a bunch of files just crammed together in a box on his desk, and then on one of the shelves there's a couple vials of acid, and on the other side there's a few vials of homemade alchemist fire and all of that such stuff.
I'd like to
of different alchemic creations.
and just kind of walking around nosying whenever I feel like they're not peeking. I'd like to take one alchemist fire and one acid.
Roll sleight of hand against Stony. Would you actively been keeping an eye on this new student, or would you be talking to watching Gadriel?
I'd be keeping my attention on Gadriel.
Okay. Then it'll be versus your passive perception.
Did you get 11 plus?
Yeah, I rolled a 19. So 26.
So yep. Just quickly swipe.
These might be useful later. Dust off one that's next to one of the ones I take because it's a little messy.
Finally, Gadriel says, "All right, looks like the paperwork's in order. What are your qualifications?"
I'm good with alchemy. I'm fast. I can see stuff quickly. I'm not dying, which you clearly are. So that's a plus.
I don't much like you. Just as a first impression. To be fair, I don't like Stony here either, but he has my respect.
I mean, that's because he's probably, at least 30.
Oh, thank you.
So he's
I'm
like
3 actually.
Yeah, see, he's a tenth of your age.
He's half my age, thank you.
Pretty sure about that.
Stony kind of mumbles under his breath. Twice as smart, though.
Hold on. No, he don't hear you.
I do. Millie just kind of silently gives him a fist bump.
Says, well, if you're that perceptive, I suppose you'd be able to tell me if my machines were exploding before I noticed.
Probably.
Your main job for this job is to not pay attention to my paperwork and make sure none of the bolts come loose.
All right, I'll need a 10-foot pole with a goblin taped to it.
Oh, I have many 10-foot poles, trust me. You need them around here. Otherwise, you hear boom. Oh, that happens.
Yeah, but specifically need the goblin taped to it.
I mean, we have goblins that are more than happy to just climb on and try.
Yeah, but with the pole, I can prod them when they do it.
You can't prod something with a pole that's taped to it.
Yeah, you make a little give with their clothes. You don't tape it to their skin. That's just cruel.
I'll have to find some kind of room in the budget. You know what? You're too new to be making demands. You just come with me. And then he, puts his hand on your shoulder and starts pushing you out of the room. Stony, follow.
Hey, off kind of.
Yeah. Shut up, young one. Let's go. He's still pushing you.
Stony just follows behind him.
I nip at his
hand. He is surprisingly strong for his old age.
I still nip at his hand.
He flicks you as you do that. He flicks you right in the nose. See that me? I work with goblins all day. And then you see a goblin run up to him and he just punts it.
And while he's busy, glaring at me and everything else, my hand is fondling through his pockets.
Could have worded that a little bit differently there.
No, the fondling is appropriate.
24.
Okay. In his pockets, there.
I am
basically with that roll,
and he said not to look through his shit. So I'm like, well, then I'm going to look through all of your shit.
Basically, with the role I have and the role you have, it's kind of like when after you kill something in Skyrim, or even when you like pickpocket someone in Skyrim, and a whole menu opens up, and you can just scroll through. No, I rolled a 2.
Sony follows them and uses Mage Hand to just like grab a notebook and bring it back to him.
Yeah,
oh,
there's
God.
like
I'm cutting. I'm sorry.
notebooks literally just floating.
What just happened? Sorry, you guys cut out for me.
He's using Mage Hand to grab shit.
Just kind of like
Specifically
he'll need like books and supplies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you find. I kind of want to break out a roll table, but instead, you find
A spell book.
2 vials. He's not specifically a wizard. He is more of a scientist. But you find 2 vials with some gray fluid in it. Another vial with some kind of milky substance that when you open it and sniff it, it smells like moldered old fluid. And there's a little note on it that says "with Vox from Vox with love." You find a couple little you find a bunch of ball bearings, actually, some nuts, some bolts, an instruction pamphlet on how to assemble an Allen wrench.
I only keep the gray fluid.
There's nothing really.
I sniff the milky fluid and I'm like, that's rotten.
There's nothing really of value, except for he does have your paperwork still in one pocket if you want to grab that out.
No, he can keep that. You might have to turn that in somewhere.
So, yeah, he takes you up 2 flights of stairs, which is interesting to you, Stony, because the closer you are to Dim Mizzet, the more special you are found, and you are 1 floor below him. But he takes you into probably the biggest workshop you have seen in this place yet, which is a little disheartening.
This place looks suited for what we're gonna do.
And when he takes you in, it's kind of like, how should I describe this? Have you ever seen like pictures of like the surgery theaters?
Yes.
It's kind of set up like that, except for there's a lot more room where the surgery floor would be, and it still goes up like 15 rows of seats. He clearly has spectators at some point with certain things.
One of the first missions you do in BioShock.
Okay, well, there's a reference.
Although,
and in the middle of it, there's from floor to the top of the archway that stands about 25 feet tall, with all kinds of tubes and wires and outlets are plugs going all over the place, or wires going all over the place, with plugged into the walls, plugged into a magical input pool, and a small little glass screen on it that's constantly reading off ones and zeros. And there's a student frantically trying to keep up with the whole thing, and they have the super long parchment that never seems to end. He just walks up, he picks it up, he looks at it for a minute. Ugh.
I take it this is the conduit for the extra-dimensional travel?
It's the beginnings of it. This is essentially the prototype.
You were raising corpses, you fuck.
Yeah, not here. I do that in my other lab.
Extra dimensional. That's that's above my pay grade, you motherfuckers. Okay.
Do you not know what we do here, Millie?
Nobody knows what you do here, you old fuck.
There's a reason for that. And with that, he pulls out a clipboard with a piece of parchment on it. Says, you need to sign here, and hands you a pen. It is a basically
NDA?
keep your mouth shut form. Yeah.
Millie writes
It's an
down
NDA.
Millie Nelson.
Millie Nelson, nice. As you write Nelson, it changes the sweet berry by itself.
That's cheating.
It seems you've tried to cheat us. You might want to read the fine print, young miss.
I cross out the fine print.
The ink just kind of beads up and rolls off the paper from where you try to cross out the fine print.
This is the worst paper ever.
He looks at Stoney and says, this young lady has never come across magical parchment, has she?
I don't think so.
Well, you've never taken your college finals, that's for sure.
I begin folding it into a paper airplane.
That you can do. So if you would have read the fine print, it does say that if you divulge or give away any of the information that you find here, essentially you will die and your soul is forfeit to the ghost people, which jiggers.
To be fair, I'm already your pain of death. So just like, ooh, you're going to be extra dead. No.
Yeah, the Orzhov Syndicate. To be dealt with upon arrival.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get 9.
Yeah, but you see how it's magical paper?
You see how it's floating in the wind?
We say, well, your name's already assigned to it. I don't care what you do with it now. We say magical, but cursed is a more apt name for it, right, Stoney? Cursed, yeah?
Cursed, hexed, ensorcelled. Take your pick of term, really.
All right, so you get to work. Start tightening some bolts. If you explode, the university is not liable.
Millie goes and grabs a goblin. Button that bolt.
The goblin's carrying a wrench and conveniently tape, and you see a wall of 10-foot poles.
Perfect.
And it says safety first above it.
Just kind of poke it in the nose. Stop. Grab the pole. Grab the tape. 1 second.
It's fighting you furiously. We're gonna roll a contested grapple check here.
Just remember, Zach, you can use acrobatics.
I know.
Wait, no. 13 plus 3 is 16. Because it's athletics.
Well, it has a 3 plus 1. So this die, my new Waterdeep dice, is now in jail. Apparently it used up all my nat 20s on that one yesterday.
Millie is, what do you call it? She can do both athletics and acrobatics. She learned both.
You cut out there for a minute, Mikhail.
I said Millie's proficient in athletics and acrobatics, so grabbing and leaving. Mostly for the climbing. I guess it came in handy. There we go. There we go. And I just kind of start pushing it towards the bolts. Like, you need to tighten those.
Once it sees that it's getting closer to the project, it gets really excited because goblins aren't actually allowed near it. As you look around, you see there are more humans, elves, Vidalkins surrounding it. And Sony, you would notice that he's got like 12 students under him, whereas you have 2.
This is a much bigger project.
That's very true.
Hey, those ones, not the other ones. Sneaky little fucker.
You watch as he untightens some of them. And the only way you can remember is lefty loosey, righty tighty, and he's going left.
Kind of prod him with the pole. Other way.
Looks at you. Do you speak Goblin?
No.
Okay, it says something in Goblin. You
Yeah,
have
I'm
the
sure your
vague idea
mother's
that's,
a whore too.
I was gonna say you have the vague idea that it's probably not very pleasant. As you like poke his head into it like a bolt that's sticking out the wrong way.
Oh, back to work. Don't make me get a different goblin.
It flicks a booger at you. I'm gonna roll to see if I hit you. What's your AC?
15.
Nope. You watch as the booger flies and lands right in between your feet.
Millie just kind of pulls out a dagger and taps it against her cheek. Back to work. I'm losing patience. At first this was fun, but now I'm irritated.
It goes back to turning left on all the bolts.
So the wrong way?
Yeah.
Yeah, Millie throws the knife at its hand.
Roll a dexterity check. Or a thrown weapons attack. I can't remember what it's called.
10 plus 7 is 17.
Yeah. Are you trying to get it like next to his hand or in its hand?
I'll say next for the first one.
It goes like right in between its fingers.
Other
Its
way.
fingers.
And I already have another dagger tapping against my cheek.
It's looking at you.
There you go.
It's staring at you the whole time until it starts getting tight, and then it has to look at it and like put a foot against it and pull it.
This is why so many of you blow up. If you just listened, maybe you'd live longer.
So Gadriel looks at you, Stony, says, the new student's an odd one.
She is. She seems more suited to a taskmaster role than any sort of researching.
I'd have to agree. We'll find out what she's good at and make her stick to that. If nothing, we might find some kind of use for her. Is she a goblin, by the way? I don't feel like she is. She seems to be something else.
No, she isn't. She isn't what I am. She's not a goblin. It's weird. Don't worry about it.
See, now gnomes, I know they just died out like 30 years ago. Except for you, obviously. Apologies on your sister, but I don't know what that is. It's concerning. It's different.
I think she called herself and he snaps his fingers a few times, a halfling? She said, I would think? No.
A happening. That's strange.
No, she said she didn't know what she was.
Gotcha. Well, looks like I have a little side project. Maybe there's more of her, but we don't know. Maybe she's a spy from some unknown faction.
Yeah, we never know.
In which case, it's a good thing she signed the waiver, huh?
Yeah, if she tells anything to anybody, she's kind of screwed.
You ever seen what happens to someone when they break those?
Don't they get turned inside out or something?
I saw that one time too, yeah, but it's usually some horrible thing.
Can I hear them?
No, there's too much chaos going on. You're too far away, and there's too much chaos going on at the moment. One second, I'm plugging my headphones in because they have a Bluetooth and they're dying.
So, what advancements have you made so far? Is it just powering the thing that you've gotten?
Well, and he takes you over to a gigantic, actually we'll say it's a whiteboard with markers, because that's fun. That's more fun than chalkboards. And it's a good, 8 foot long. And he hands you a marker in a step stool. He says, he's just showing you equations and walking you through his ideas. And he says, see, we have the conduit. And we have the power source, but I feel like we're missing something. Some kind of... We need some kind of connection to a different dimension for this to work in the first place. The best thing would be someone from a different dimension.
Stony looks over at Millie.
He looks at her too.
What do you want?
No.
See you looking over there, you pervs.
They just stay staring at you for a minute.
Because it's too loud.
Right, we don't hear anything. We just hear hammering and buzzing sounds and
See Millie
strange
raising
random
her
science
fist
noises.
and opening her mouth.
Yeah, he waves too. He says, she might actually be from another dimension. Wouldn't that be something?
It would definitely be interesting. Also, you forgot to carry the 6 right here. He points out the fault in the equations.
He looks at it. Oh, good Lord, it's a whole foot too small. He yells, stop everything! Stop! We have to start all over. And he walks over and he just starts kicking the thing. Unscrew everything. We have to start all over. 3 weeks worth of progress, all down the hole. Because this is what I get for letting my students do the math. I should have known better. And he looks at a particular Vidalcan who looks terrified at this moment.
Stony just shrugs and holds his hand up to the conduit and just drags his hand up and mage hands when it gets too high and just drags the hand all the way up and across it and uses his transmutation magic to just separate it into its component pieces.
He watches it all fall apart. And he watches it clatter to the ground. Basically his life's work. All messed up by one Vidalcan student. He shakes his head and says, well, you've saved us 4 days worth of disassembling. Unless you see it, like 2 goblins are walking out with dynamite and they look really disappointed now. And they just kind of walk away, shoulders slumped.
Millie waves over the ones with dynamite.
They're already walking away.
I'm going to get my hand on that dynamite.
There's dynamite aplenty.
You put me in a world with real technology. I am taking so much back.
You don't know that there is a pack.
I'm taking so much.
So, yeah, everything's taken apart. He looks disappointed. You've shattered his world in a matter of seconds. But he says, I'm grateful. We could have gotten all the way there, and then everyone in the room could have died simultaneously in the goblin's cheer. No, it's not a good thing!
Stony looks over the goblins and he's just like, why isn't saving people time and effort and lives a good thing?
No, everybody dying is not exactly a good thing. The goblins are cheering. Why we hire them is understandable. They make excellent.
All I heard
They're
was
like
they
eyebrows.
make X. Zach, what I heard was they make X.
Oh, good. That's good for video. That's good for stream.
Oh.
Hold on, I'm starting to get you back. I think I froze.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you're cutting out a bit, so we didn't really
Slowly.
know.
The last I heard was they make X. And the video is gone now. I can hear you typing, we just can't see you. Hey, we can see you again. You good, bud?
Red, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Mikhail's still frozen on my screen.
Am I?
I can see Mikhail.
I don't know how to fix this.
I'm not sure either.
Are you good now? Hello?
I can hear you. So how's the fixing going?
A little bit. I can't see either of you. Hold on.
You turned our cameras
I can
off.
hear you, Mikhail.
You can? That's all that matters then.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Is it just the video that's screwed up now?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm back.
No
Sorry.
worries.
Was
Bad.
a pain, yeah, and my babysitter was on their way, so. But I was listening the whole time, so I think I picked up
Are they still?
most of what was going on. So
Are they still on?
Is it still what? Oh.
oh no, what's happening?
Oh.
Mikhail, what did you do?
What did I do? Oh, he left. Oh, no.
Mikhail got him so mad by trying to get dynamite that he just left.
I'm done with you, Mikhail.
All on me.
So, welcome back, Zach.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Give it a second here.
Yeah, so
All right.
last thing I heard Gladys
There we
say
go.
was they make
Yeah, they make excellent crash test dummies. I'm actually going to kill everyone's cameras here because it was working better then. There we go.
Now for the special podcast version.
Special podcast version featuring 2 logos and random MySpace looking guys. So, yeah, he says they're good, excellent crash test dummies, but other than that, basically goblins are useless. Do you know how stupid they are? I mean, really. You see like a goblin looking at him, he says, "Hey, don't make me cut your pay again." He walks away. He says,
We should have this
It means
back
over.
up in about a day or so.
I'm just surprised they get paid.
"Well, when I say pay, I mean I gave them like a loaf of bread for all of them, and they were more than happy to blow each other up over it. So, you know,
That's more than fair.
yeah, I figured as much."
We should have the
Nice.
convoy back up and assembled in a day or so, especially if I'm helping out.
Wonderful, wonderful. But for the thing we were talking about, and he looks at you, Millie, and then looks kind of squints at you for a second, Stony, and says, "The special ingredient. We need to figure out if said subject is a viable fuel."
That doesn't sound good, and I don't want you touching me.
Oh, don't worry, we won't be touching you.
There, as you say that, a goblin is literally picking a nit out of your hair.
And by
Just
we,
kinda
I
smack his
mean
hand away.
myself and Gladian.
Gadriel.
Gadriel.
Gladian is in Pokemon.
I thought it was a bit. I thought that name sounded familiar.
Yeah, that's the air quotes bad guy in Sun and Moon.
Spoilers. So, Miss Millie,
Yeah, what?
tomorrow. No, you'll be here tomorrow. I'll be down at my lab tomorrow. Tomorrow, when Adriel.
Gadriel speaks up. Gadriel's going to speak up. It says, "We're reassembling this tomorrow, so Miss Sweetberry, you're going to go with Mr. Stark. Or Mr. Tark. Sorry, I always get your name messed up. I don't know why.
It's fine. I'm sure that there's a human somewhere around here that's named that.
It's possible. I think he's building some kind of armor. I don't know.
Anyway, like Gadriel said, if you could come with me tomorrow just so you could observe something that's a bit more on your level.
That's a little insulting.
Well, this is
She says as she almost blatantly just pockets some random piece of unimportant equipment.
literally traveling to other dimensions. The other one's just pulling stuff from other dimensions.
That one does sound a little bit more fun. So where are we going?
Well, tomorrow we're going to be at my laboratory and you're going to be with me and my 2 students.
People want to learn from you?
Why, do I not seem like someone who could teach?
You're just young.
I'm 40.
Gadriel says, "Eh."
Yeah, well, you look young. Good for
Thank
you, I suppose. Rocking that 43. Give him kind of a pat on the shoulder, awkwardly. Billy doesn't know how to talk to people.
Gadriel is barking orders at the cleanup crew and already getting some of the footwork assembled. He's waving you guys off, telling you to get out of here.
Well,
So,
since he's telling us to leave, I'm going to show you where it is now, and tomorrow morning you can join us. I don't believe that either of my students will be there at this time.
you hear from across the room, Stony. Stony!
Hmm.
You know the questions to ask, yes?
Of course I do.
Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. No, you! Don't pick that up! And he's smacking a goblin that's also carrying dynamite. We don't need that here! Again, it looks heartbroken. You hear it say something in Goblin, a word you've never heard before, called fluffernutter. And he says no, and he kicks it in the butt and makes it leave.
I think that was not the right way to go about that.
Who are you talking to?
Millie,
What wasn't the right way to go about what?
smacking and kicking a goblin that has explosives in his hand.
Oh, I'm faster than it, don't worry. If it tried anything, I was just going to stab it to death.
No, not you. Gadriel.
Oh, yeah, he's old and rickety, and they'll probably eat his flesh one day.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Anyway, follow me downstairs.
Do.
To the important floor. Now, we'll switch back over to Dovin. As you guys travel downstairs. Dovin, as you walk into the room, Olga says, Dovin, you're not 20 minutes in the ground.
Yeah, what of it?
what are you doing back here? You're supposed to be dead. No offense, I'm happy to see you. Well, your spirit. Are you at unrest? Did we do something wrong? Is the burial wrong? I knew I should have burnt your body. Hold on, I'll go burn your body. And
Well, I mean, he's too cute to burn. You just leave it.
Then
No one thinks highly of himself.
did you come back for unfinished business? As she rubs her belly.
Yes, mischief I must cause.
What mischief? Are you still looking to become chief, or even clan leader?
I'm kind of a ghost, so I was thinking more around the, poltergeist, haunting, murdering things.
Hunting and murdering.
And
Well,
no
I mean,
chaos.
you're really only adding haunting at this point.
True. But might as well give it a shot.
I mean, if there's no better time to become chief, it's now. I mean, you can't die twice, can you?
That's right. You kind of see like a light bulb above Dovin's head. Like, I can be chief. But first I gotta go find, what was his name? Dulan?
Hold on.
I had it remembered.
Volim.
There we go. That's close.
Volim. Volim. You come back from the dead, and the first thing you think of is to go to your drinking buddy.
That would shock you? I died.
But you were 5 years sober.
I was? Oh. Well, I'm pretty sure being a ghost is also going to keep that 5 years going.
I just... Okay, well... I will let you know when your son is born, I suppose. Have fun.
Shit. I forgot that too. Damn. I think I might have lost some stuff when I got killed. Yeah.
She's starting to throw salt at you. Get out! Get out!
Oh, fine.
Come back when you have found your reason.
Okay. Ghostly float away.
You do give some of the local tribespeople. Now, it's one of the few patches of dry ground here in the swamps. And they have taken to the water. Because, fuck that, there's a ghost there, and these are very superstitious people. As you look around, there's the orcs, the half-orcs, the humans, the bug-like people, I think they're called the Kroll. I can't remember. You see one family of centaurs. And 2 wood elves, and you pass by them, and then one of the wood elves notices you, and he walks up slowly, and he says, Dovin, is that you?
Yeah, mostly.
I just watched you die.
Yeah, I already heard.
I mean, clearly you died. You're a ghost. Don't tell me you're still going after the chief. That is a petty way to spend your afterlife.
Hey, it's my afterlife. I can be petty if I want.
Met Dovin.
What's that, Stoney?
Are we sure this guy's met Dovin?
That's a good point. I suppose there are worse ways to spend it. Freezing, or burning, or being tortured, or... Anyway, what are you up to? You look like you're a man on a mission, or a man terrified of something his wife just did.
Well, little of both.
Yeah, well, that's how you know she's a good one, yeah?
Don't just yeah. But anyways, I'm off to find Volin. Did I say that right? Yeah.
Volim.
Molim. It's his name.
Volim. Volim.
Kyle, you just spelled this to me. Fulham. There we go. Off to find the old drinking buddy.
Oh, okay. Do you mind if I go with you? We have nothing to do currently. We're not attacking anyone for another week or so.
Sure. Just, keep in mind I'm a ghost, so just don't forget.
So as you go to float over the first lock of water, it for some reason on the way here it didn't, but now it burns as you try to cross over it.
Like, oh, bloody hell, what the fuck?
Oh, right. You're buried in that swamp, so you probably can't cross over it. And then he's like, "Here, into the boat."
Damn weird ghost rules.
Yeah, you got
the boat.
As you float over the boat, you're like, suddenly gravity takes you again, and you're sitting in the seat, and you can't move.
What the fuck?
As he grabs a long pole, and he says, "Well, it's a good thing I'm here to ferry you then, huh?"
Yeah.
And he begins pushing through. Several hours later, and a awkward conversation about what it's like to be a ghost and how it feels to be dead and what it felt like and where you went and all the typical questions you could expect to ask someone that's a ghost.
Yeah.
Now that song is stuck in my head. I hate you, Connor.
You're very welcome, you poor unfortunate soul.
So, okay. Now there has to be a random Ursula character. So, never mind. I'm moving on. Moving on. You do reach this is one of the few places that are more like a fort than anything else. More than like a fort than anything else around. High wooden walls, several lookout posts. You're sure they've already announced the arrival of a wood elf and a ghost. As you are ushered through the water gate, you look around and you see a very, very large human. He is human. Riding on the back of a centaur that is not your friend, but his wife.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if Volum knows about that.
As you arrive on the shore, the man says, "Now, what business does a ghost and this elf have to do here?"
Well, the elf is with me, so his business is my business, and my business is to find Volum. Do you know where he is?
Volum is outcast for his witchcraft.
Witchcraft. Outcast. And who's in charge now?
Me, as always.
That would explain.
And he gives a strange caress to Volum's wife's face and says, "And of course, Volum's wife, as always."
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's something weird going on there.
Okay.
She doesn't look happy about it.
Well, she's getting ridden around by some giant human. I don't think she would be. But how long has he been outcasted?
Oh, it must have been some time since you've spoken to him. He's been outcast 3 years now. We caught him doing witchcraft. We did not wish him to curse our people.
You sure it was witchcraft and he wasn't just in one of his drunken stupors and messing around?
The man was bleeding out a chicken into a vial while chanting.
You know, that's pretty damning, I guess. God damn Volum.
Not to mention, there's a doll that looks like me that had pins in it, and ever since then, I've had weird pains in my back.
Delvin's gonna laugh. Just bust a gut. Like, Volum. Even when
Listen here, ghost, do not make me bring out the silver.
Oh, okay. No harm. Just, thinking of a previous joke is all, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, well, anyway, has there been any recent kind of sightings? Any idea where he went or where he would be?
The wife looks away, he says, and then the man says, he's in a shack, 1 mile to the east. Tell him Ulfric sends his regards.
Ulfric, regards, sent. Gotcha.
Now leave this place. You have no business here.
You're right. Sorry for the intrusion. We're
And
out,
then
Elfie. Let's go.
He kicks her in the hips, and she turns away to walk away. And she kind of gives you one last look back, and then trots away.
Wish I could help, but hands are kind of, tied. Like ghosty way.
So, by the way, you would know that this elf that's been ferrying you around, his name's Emerald.
Emerald, okay.
Yeah, let me spell that for you real quick. He was more or less a friend while you were alive. At least someone that you didn't want to kill.
Okay.
And he ferries you a mile east to where you find a typical, voodoo hut. Like, every video you've ever seen it, or every movie you've ever seen a voodoo priest in. It looks like that. There's, skulls and bones dangling like wind chimes off of tree branches. It's literally a hut in the middle of the swamp made out of sticks and straw. There's a small campfire or a small fire inside the building.
Hi. I got that. I'm gonna kind of approach the front and holler in for Volum. Hey, Volum!
You hear from inside, Dolvin?
Hey,
Dolvin, is that you? And then you hear someone stumbling around inside. And as he walks out, you can see his eyes are all milky colored.
Whoa. Been rough out here for you, huh, Volum?
Yeah, it must mean my eyes.
Yeah.
And they blinded me when they caught me making medicine one day.
So it was just medicine, 'cause it was kind of sounding a little witchcrafty.
Oh, you know me. What looks like witchcraft to some is druidic magic healing for others.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Again, just figured.
But as superstitious as they are in the fortress, they banished me and took my sight from me. He gives you a smile and kind of tilts his head. What can I do for you, my friend?
Well, I was sent here to find you, to cause some havoc amongst, and to just eventually become war chief. Chief of all. So I figured the best person that would help me in my ghosty form would be you. So
I see. I'm not much in the way for chaos, but I suppose I could advise you. And it would be fun to get back at those that took away my sight.
Also, we should probably help your wife. She does not look too happy.
What has happened to her?
Well, what was the human's name again? Ulfric? No. Ulfric. Ulfric kind of rides around on her, and it's just very demeaning.
He rides her?
Yes. Like a horse, like a common animal.
You can literally see the blood boiling in his veins.
Yeah, that's more like it. We need to go do something. I know you're blind, but is there anything you can do?
Yes. Well, first, you could take revenge on the fort. Get my wife out of the situation, and we will be more than happy to help you.
I'm in. What do you need?
He says, come in with me. He
Kinda.
taps 2 kegs to the left, and you look at them, and you know what they are, and you can't believe what you're seeing. Sorry, it's 3 kegs. It's 3 kegs I've written. These are full kegs, full powder kegs of gunpowder.
Oh.
These should help make some noise.
Oh, they will do nicely.
He says, once these go off, take this flag, and he hands you a pole with a flag. He takes a flag out of a chest and hands it to you. Tie it to the mast, or tie it to their flagpole and raise it. Those that are still friendly to me will know it is finally time to revolt. And you see as he says this, they're on the ground around him. Little mushrooms are starting to sprout quite quickly, quite rapidly, of all sorts.
Interesting. What's with the mushrooms?
My true powers as a druid have come in as of late. They've manifested in a strange but interesting way.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm excited. Test out this ghost body here.
You see his smile suddenly drop to a frown. The mushrooms below him start to rot. And he says, the wet body?
Oh yeah. I died. I'm a ghost now, floating. Typical ghosty stuff.
He looks heartbroken. He says, how did you get here?
Some half elf, I believe.
Yeah. I am a wood elf, thank you.
Oh. What elf? Sorry.
And he walks over and he takes the centaur's hand. He says, the name is Emiriel. The centaur nods. It's nice to meet you. You can carry the powder kegs to the boat I assume you have. He goes, fine. And he starts carrying them out to the boat.
Real quick, how did you spell the what elf's name?
It is in the chat, but you can't look at chat, can you?
I actually think I can. Or maybe not. I don't know how to find it.
Okay. So the wood elf's name is Emiriel. Immeral.
Yeah. Okay. Emiriel. Okay.
And you would know that the wife's name is Zoria, which is Zoria.
Okay. Okay, we're good.
Hold on, I'm gonna throw that in my notes real quick.
Oh, shit.
It says, but Bollum would tell you, wait until it gets dark. Put one of these kegs next to his hut. Make sure my wife is not staying there. But then put one keg behind his hut. Put one under the North Watchtower. And put one in their barracks. Find one more person to help set these off. Or 2 if you can't do it in your incorporeal form. And set all 3 off simultaneously. Then raise the flag. If all goes well, we shall take the fort by night. And then I have friends within the city that may be more than willing to help. I can call in a favor or 2.
Sounds like a plan.
Wonderful. So as that plan is made, we will go back to Stony Tark's office. In fact, Millie, you're probably absent-mindedly playing with a jar that has some kind of yellow spores inside it.
Probably something along those lines.
And Stony, you would know that you got those spores from a very special centaur druid in the swamps, one of the Grohl clan members, as a favor to call in later. Also, it's probably very dangerous to inhale, so you don't want her to drop and break it.
Just be careful with that. Don't drop it. It's kind of not good to breathe.
So if I threw it to somebody else?
They probably choke a lot, but please don't do that.
But why?
Because I had to give a favor to someone to get those, and I'd rather that not be wasted.
Well, what's your plan for them?
I was planning.
You would also know the last person that inhaled these spores grew mushrooms on the inside of their body, which killed them.
I was planning on having them and using them in small doses for the research that we're doing to see if the mushrooms could, by chance, the mushrooms that grew inside of someone would help them come back.
That sounds a lot less fun.
Well, here we focus on learning.
Oh. Why?
Because if we learn what we can and can't do with the power of science and magic, then we know how much we can bend the world to our whim.
But that's no fun.
Stony raises an eyebrow, points his gauntlet straight up, and does a small puff of fire from it.
That's fun. Why isn't more stuff like that?
Because sometimes to get to that, you need to do boring stuff.
I don't like that. And then she'll pull out a gray bot. Wait, is the other guy gone? Or is he still
it's just you two in the office. It's you two
Just
just
to
in the
pull out
office
a
having
gray
a
bot
chat.
and be like, what the fuck is this?
What the fuck is it?
Actually, you don't know what it is. It looks like some kind of mystery fluid that is a byproduct of something else, Stony.
It looks like some sort of byproduct to a chemical reaction that probably wasn't important. It doesn't look like it's reacting to anything in particularly stressfully.
Well, it is in a vial. Kind of figured that was the point of the vials.
Vials are to keep the things contained, but the way that he was running his workshop, I doubt that he has a control environment.
I'll throw them at somebody anyway and pockets them.
And that's the sound of it dropping on the floor.
Now
So,
then,
as you ha-
secondary question. What happens if I, per se, maybe break the rules mentioned on that paper I signed?
Well, the exact punishment gets updated with each version of it. I know at least a few months ago that it was turning people inside out.
And do they just know, or do they have to find you and catch you?
The way that the paper works is that when you signed it, you basically sealed yourself to that contract.
And who am I in particular sealed to?
I thought you hear a polite knock on the door.
Oh, one moment, please. Stony goes and answers the door.
You see a human man with salt and pepper hair, salt and pepper beard. Jet black hair and salt and pepper beard. Silver spectacles in like a straight up like futuristic lab coat. And he leans over and he says, Stony, I know we just spoke. And then he sees Millie. Now, Stony, which you know is this is Niv Mizzet's human form. When he feels like being out and about among his employ. And he says,
Oh,
who
wonderful
is...
timing, sir.
It would seem. Who is your friend?
Oh,
And do they have permission to be this far into our keep?
this is Millie, and yes, she does. Both I and Gadriel inspected her paperwork before we brought her in.
I see. May I see it for a moment? As he's still waiting for an invitation to come in.
Stony steps back from the doorway, and he waves his arm to gesture to him to come in.
The old
And
fogey.
nods to you.
If I remember correctly, Gadriel still has the paperwork.
Yeah, the old fogey.
If you would
I
like
thought you took it back when you're going. I thought you took it back when you're going through his paperwork,
No,
through
I
his
said he could
pockets.
keep that.
Huh?
I said he could keep that.
Oh, so you would tell him that Gadriel still has it?
Yeah, that's what we've been saying.
Okay.
Gadriel still has the paperwork at the moment, but she's fine.
Why does Gadriel have your paperwork?
3 or 4 hours, he'll probably drop dead of advanced age, and then you can just take it off of him then.
Gadriel has her paperwork because he's the one that she was assigned to, but because of the project you're having me work on with him, he had me bring her down here so that she wouldn't get in the way tomorrow.
He stands thoughtfully for a second and says, "That's interesting timing. Where did you come from, Miss?" He's like making hand gestures, waiting.
Millie's just kind of nodding as he does it.
Where are you from, Miss?
Around.
I can smell that.
That's rude. Bathed yesterday.
I'm sure. Now, I assume you have the highest credentials to be here. Either that, or you're another,
Real good.
or you're another test dummy.
That's also
How
rude.
about you? He hunches down and says, "I have to tell you, it's been quite some time, at least." And he stands there thoughtfully for a second. Says, 12,000 years since I've seen a halfling. Most of you've died in the calamity.
You know what she is?
This guy is 12,000 years old.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that little bastard upstairs is only 83. What is it with all you people and your weird aging? None of you make any sense.
He says, "I moisturize.
That's
And I'm
a-
15,000. And I'm 15,000.
That's also a damn lie.
Oh,
I'm
also,
afraid
Millie,
it's
that
not.
question you had about the contract. He's the one you're sealed to.
Oh, him.
Oh, good. She signed the waiver. Oh, wonderful. I can speak freely then. And you're on his project, which is interesting. And he shuts your door for you, Stony, and sits in your chair.
Stony just sits on top of the desk. He's probably used to this, swinging his feet.
So, you do know that our friend Gadriel is probably close to death.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Say it ain't so.
Yes, humans age strangely. An 86-year-old human is a sight to behold at this point, especially in this business. But
I think 86
Tony-
is middle-aged for a halfling.
now that you've seen his project, do you think there's any backing to it, any reason to hold on to it?
Well, it did just all fall apart.
It what? He's been working on that for months.
A student of his forgot to carry a 6 for some of the math, so they just had to restart the construction of the gateway.
He's doing the classic, the spectacles are sliding up his nose while he rubs the corners of his eyes.
Don't worry, I saved him 4 days of disassembly.
Well, at least you've saved some time. Is there any merit to his claims that he can do this? You've seen the math. Clearly.
Other than the not carrying the 6, the math seems solid. He just said that we'd need something from a different dimension, preferably a person. And he glances with his eyes at Millie. And we think we found someone like that.
I'm pretty sure they mean to use me for something nefarious, and I'll be honest with you, your waiver didn't say anything about stabbing them in the face.
Article 72, subsection 3,
It wasn't that long.
line 13.
It was one page. There was not that many things.
Oh, you signed the...
Visible ink.
I'll stab you anyway then. We'll both die, you fuck.
I'm afraid you can't die from stabbing in my lab.
Just
Watch. And he stabs Millie.
That's rude.
And you have a pen sticking in your gut. It hurts. But it's not going to kill you.
They're the ones who want
a point.
Something weird. Really,
Look,
everybody wants to use me for something. Nobody ever asked me what I want to do, so it's kind of fucked up.
Well, what do you want to do?
Not be here, not be anywhere near
I'm
here.
curious.
Not
The last halfling in existence.
I hate this place. But I don't get that choice. So.
You hate this place, yet you've worked your whole life to become an Izzet League member. You confuse me.
We both know
It's
that's
almost...
bullshit if you're 15,000 years old.
It's very obvious you are a spy.
15,000-year-old fucking sending me in to deal with this bullshit fucking curses. Y'all aren't worth this bullshit. Clean my hands of that.
You watch his red scales start to slide up his neck.
Oh, you're a dragon. That makes more sense.
Yes. And you see his eyes give way to a golden color with the black slit in the middle. How would you ever guess?
It's mostly the red.
He starts ignoring you a little bit, Millie, as you wander about Stoney's office. He says, Stoney, you claim his research has merit, but we need to find a power source of some sort from another dimension, preferably a person.
Yeah, that's right.
Do we have any accounts? And then he stops and thinks. He's more of talking to himself at this point. It's all rhetorical. Do we have any accounts of extra-dimensional travel in the last 1,000 years? No, none. Not extra-dimensional, but we do have... No, that's not the same. Wait, there may be an artifact.
No insult to you, but you said it was 12,000 years since you last saw a halfling?
Yes.
And she's a halfling.
Millie's just kind of poking at the pen in her stomach.
He rips the pen out of your stomach.
Hey, I was playing with that.
He hands it to you. Do as you wish.
So maybe she came from another dimension? I know it's a long
Impossible.
shot.
Impossible. We would have had records of extra-dimensional travel somewhere. You know how the Senate members are.
I'm going to be honest with you. Senate members pay money to get that stuff misplaced all the time.
Really? Then how would you know this?
That's who I worked for. That's what my clan did.
And now I know who you belong to. Thank you.
Not anymore.
But
they fucking sent me in here to get... You said imploded, Stoney? Was that what you said? Imploded. Yes, imploded.
I said turned inside out.
What's the difference?
Well, inside out means all of your blood vessels and stuff are on the outside, and your skin
and
pupils and stuff are in the inside.
At least partially imploded at that point.
he has a point, Stoney.
This is true.
You know, we really should find a less messy version for the next contracts.
Honestly, you could just have them stabbed. It's so
Again,
much more quick and effective.
but it's not as fun.
I don't know about that.
Why do 1,000 years of cursed object studies to not use curses?
Is imploding so messy?
Oh, we can find something else. Maybe an instant freezing spell. That would be fun. Sub-zero contracts.
Make ice sculptures.
That just sounds like something a devil would do to another devil.
No, I learned the trick from a devil. Again, during the calamity.
I don't know what that is.
But this was a
You
fun
don't?
plane for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. And he stops for a minute and says, "You don't know what the calamity was."
Why would I?
Stony, do you have a book on the calamity here?
Stony
You
stands
know of a
up
place
and-
called Barovia, Mr. Old Person.
He gives that pause. And then he looks at you two, both of you, again. And he just thinks, and again asks, "Stony, do you have a book on the calamity?"
Stony stands up on his desk and the front of his gauntlet detaches again as it searches with a finger across the books. And when he finds one, he goes, "Ah, here it is." And
He's just
grabs
sitting
it
there with his
one
hand out.
and pulls it out.
And takes, and he hands you the book, and as you flip through it, there's a surprising amount of pictures in it. It says, about 12,000 years ago. Have you ever heard of the Blood Wars? No, I assume not. About 12,000 years ago, there was a great event called the Blood Wars that have lasted many millennia. The demons and devils fought each other for a long time. Well, eventually, the devils won. The demons won, apologies. Slayed the devils, broke through the abyss into the mortal plane, and wiped out all of existence. Most races, dwarves, halflings, many other races that are not good at adapting to great and sudden change, died almost immediately, as the entire world became a hellscape for a long time, until a group of adventurers somewhere throughout time defeated an archdemon and set the world right. And for approximately, I believe it was 10,000 years, while I was still doing my studies underground, you could say, the world began to right itself. But the calamity itself lasted only 1 or 2,000 years, something like that. It was fascinating to watch as the world fell apart and righted itself. Ravna became born after that. Pretty soon, it became this entire metropolis, as you see now. So apparently, you, a past family member, your tribe, something like that, must have went underground and hid for a long, long time. Do you remember any of your family?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No, not really.
No, I suppose you wouldn't. I'm sorry, Stony, but a thought-provoking hypothesis has just come up, and I must pursue it. And he leaves without another word.
After he makes sure the door is shut, Stony's going to wonder aloud, I wonder if that hypothesis is if you're from a different dimension.
Well, where would I be from then?
I don't know. Somewhere.
Huh. You sure about that?
I mean, we're all from somewhere.
I mean, from a different dimension, though. Seems a little far-fetched.
I mean, like you said, the halflings and dwarves and such that couldn't handle it right away got just wiped out.
Huh. Weird.
And it's been 10,000 years since the calamity ended. We would have thought there'd be at least one more. Maybe even 100 more. 10,000 years is a long time.
No, that's fair. That is quite a bit. I mean, I'm only, let me think. I think I'm 19. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very long time. I'm actually having a hard time comprehending that number in years.
Oh, basically, it's a third of how long he's been alive.
Now, that doesn't help me because it's 5,000 times longer than I've been alive. And I've never had 5,000 of anything.
Well, that's not true. You've had 5,000 seconds.
Yeah, but I didn't pay attention to them.
Well, maybe you should have so that you had a apt frame of reference. Just extend those 5,000 seconds to years.
Is there a section about maiming on that ledger?
Mating?
Maiming.
Oh, maiming. I mean, the section he was talking about just referred to bodily harm in any way.
Then how do you get away with doing anything here?
Just for the record, there is a section on mating. It's highly encouraged for the goblin employees. And maiming is allowed.
Ha! I can maim.
I mean, but if you maim me...
But only to yourself.
Why would you maim you? This place is worse than where I came from. Nothing but rules. Everywhere I go. Rules, rules, rules.
I mean, we have to ask if we should before we ask if we could.
Why?
So that we don't end up creating an abomination.
You'll know you've messed up when you create the abomination, though.
Yeah, but what if we can't stop the abomination once it's made?
That's a harsh lesson, then, isn't it?
Yes, but we'd rather not die.
Millie's having a hard time understanding a world where people don't die for making making mistakes.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't entirely understand that. Not dying for making a big mistake. That's kind of deserved where I'm from.
To be fair, the goblins do die when they make a mistake.
Yeah, but goblins aren't people.
I mean, I guess that's true, kind of.
There's going to be a goblin named Barton Luther King.
He's going to get stabbed to death by a bored halfling who's been cooped up for way too long.
Anyway, one more question for you. Where exactly were you found by whoever raised you, or the guild that you're a part of?
I didn't get raised. I raised myself.
Well,
They found me because I was stealing. Probably from them. I can't really remember.
well, what's the
Was it
earliest place you can remember being?
the street?
Which street?
No, they all blend together.
Stony snaps his fingers, and then he opens up the notebook that he brought with him, and then he puts it down on the desk, and he says, "Could you try and draw what street?"
Millie draws a very basic street. Like two lines that close off an end point, a stall, and a couple alleyways. There you go. Best artwork I've ever done, if I say so myself.
What district was this in?
Don't know. I didn't pay attention to that. I was more worried about, eating and not being murdered
Oh, so it was a shady part of
or
town.
being used as an experiment. Which gives you kind of a pointed look.
Hey, you're only going to be used as an experiment if we can figure out if you're from a different dimension.
I still take a bit of offense to it.
If I were from a different dimension, I'd volunteer myself, but I don't know that.
Volunteer yourself and find out then.
Well, I would, but I had a sister that died a few years ago.
Well, maybe she was from there too.
Well, then maybe
You're supposed to be willing to do something yourself before you force somebody into it.
I am willing to do it myself. I just don't know if
Like I was willing to
not
tighten those
from
bolts,
the
but
thing.
it's just more fun to make the goblin do it.
Me being unsure of whether I'm from a different dimension, I don't know what kind of effect that would have on the conduit. Whether that would make it just go explode it and kill everyone, or if it would activate regardless.
Isn't that a risk you should be willing to take as a scientist?
No.
There's no reasoning with you. Are all your people this stubborn?
Most of them.
Technically, yes.
That's probably why they died out then.
Oh, you were talking about the gnomes. I thought you were talking about the rest of the league. Yeah.
At least I'll just blame it on you being you then.
So, Stony, I never did ask, does the door in your office have a window, yes or no? It's up
It
to
has
you.
a window, but it's not transparent. It is opaque.
Okay, you guys see a figure walk past, which is rare down here. Basically, Stony, it's like 3 other professors are down here, and Nib Mizzet is in the floor below. And you would know that the other professors are, at this time, 2 of them would be sleeping because they are night owls. And one of them would probably be eating because that's all they seem to really do. There really is almost never anyone else down here. And you know, when Nib Mizzet says he's on a mission to find some kind of information, he doesn't come out of his hold for at least 3 days. It's weird that someone's down here.
Stony raises an eyebrow and pats Millie on the shoulder, and he says, "You stay here. There's something I need to see."
Was that person not supposed to be here?
It's a strange occurrence.
Millie races out the door after them.
Okay. I'm guessing Stony's shortly behind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stony's going after her and is trying to be like, "No, get back in there. Get back in."
And Millie's
So
going
as-
full, dash, bonus action, dash, move.
So Millie's flying away. But as you guys pop out of the room and you get the first glimpse, you see the tail of a blue and silver cloak turn and start heading up the stairs. And Millie, you see the all too familiar glint of the silver spectacles of the person from your dream.
You get back here, you motherfucker.
And that's where we're going to switch to Dovin. Dovin,
Yes.
so it is now nightfall where you're at. And you have to decide who you can and can't trust. There's several people wandering around. Actually, I will just say, you know of a small faction of people because oh god, I forgot his name already. Volum would have gave you a list of names that you can trust until you give one of these powder kegs to any one of these names, and they'll set it up for you.
Okay. Also, can I carry these powder kegs?
No, you
At all?
can't.
Okay, that's
Not in your spectral form.
okay. So I assume since I can't carry it, there's probably no way that I can light one.
That is correct. Unless you knew magic, which I don't think you do.
No, Dovin's not smart enough to know magic. Okay.
So you can. Go ahead.
Did Volum tell me where to find these people? Like where I should go look first, or just their names?
Yes, two of which are city guard. Well, I guess they'd be fortress guard. And one of which works in the barracks itself. Plus, you have Emiriel.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going. So, are we still with Volum in his little hut, or have we proceeded
No,
to the
you two in particular at the fort now.
fort now? Okay.
There's also Zoria, which is his wife.
Yeah.
You're pretty sure you can trust her.
Yeah. Are the kegs on our little boat, or where do we have?
They're on the boat. And Muriel has pulled them off and kind of hid them behind a bush, like in a bush, so no one can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Now the first step is to get past the wall and the city guard. Well, the fort guard.
And how long can Ghost Dovin be invisible? Is it a minute?
Oh, I forgot you can be invisible.
Oh,
Hold
yeah.
on.
Yeah, Dovin's gonna.
Please tell me I did not erase that. Oh, no. It looks like I erased that. Oh, son of a bitch.
I thought I wrote it down too, but I can't find my notes anywhere.
Yeah, it's 1 minute.
1 minute.
Right here. Domina's ghost, half health, ghost resistances, turn invisible once per short rest for 1 minute, and fly speed of 30 feet.
Okay, well, Dovin's first move is so I'm going to talk to Emriel. Emriel, is that his name? Did I say that right?
Emiriel.
Emiriel. Okay. Okay, Emiriel, this is the plan. What do you think would be the easiest spot for you to place one of those powder kegs?
For me in particular,
Yes.
ooh, I could probably take out one of the North Watchtower.
Okay.
I wouldn't have to go inside, and it'd be way easier for you to sneak around as a ghost. Or possess someone or something, you know? Can you possess people?
If I can possess people, Dovin's not going to want to be brought back to life.
Yeah, Dovin does not have that skill in particular.
Okay.
You've not been dead long enough.
Well, this is my plan. You go plant that one. I'll go to the barracks and find. You didn't tell me the name, but
You don't know the name.
The loyal.
But you do know it's a half ogre.
Half ogre. Okay.
Yep.
Find our loyal partner there, and hopefully he can take the other powder keg to the barracks since he's where he works. And then I'm also gonna go find. Oh, dang it! Why do I always write my notes down in different pieces of paper? Zoria, make sure she's not in the captain's tent or with that guy, and hopefully she can help me plant the last one behind his little. Is he sleep in a tent? That last one I have to plant, is it a tent thing or?
Yeah, it's basically like a hut inside surrounded by tents.
Okay, that's what I thought. And hopefully she can help. If not, go that one off. I feel like she might enjoy blowing up that little area. So does that sound like a plan to you? Any suggestions? Any holes?
No, sounds great. You're the boss, man.
Okay. Now, what would be a good signal?
Oh, I have it. I have it. Why don't you raise the flag first and then everything blows up?
I thought we had to blow. Volums made to blow everything up first and then raise the flag.
Okay, you're the boss.
Huh.
And then he
You know what?
looks around. He says, "I have a horn."
You know, when you hear the first explosion, just light it.
Okay, I can do that.
Deal. Okay.
And
Hey,
then
so Dovin's. Sorry, go
he
ahead.
starts lugging the first one away towards the north tower.
Okay. So now Dovin's going to head to the barracks. By doing so, he's going to fly high enough up that no one can see him. It's dead of night. And basically just beeline it to the top of the barracks. And then slowly make his way down through the barracks.
Okay, it's easy enough to do. Once you get past the wall, there's not a lot of lookout. There's also not a lot of ghosts, so you know to keep yourself hidden enough. You make your way to the barracks, and you see a half ogre man sitting there. He's dozing off. His arms are crossed, and he seems to be the only one standing in front of the barracks. It's just room of complete with dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of weapons of all sorts. You see axes, swords, a trident, glaives, daggers. Anything you can think of is in here.
Okay. Oh, God, I hope he's the right one. Gonna kind of go up to him. You said he's standing at the front of the barracks, right? The entrance?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
being inside the entrance, I'm gonna I can't really throw anything at him. I'm gonna kind of call for him, get him to come into the barracks so I can talk to him.
Yeah, you definitely get his attention. He sees you, goes,
"Look at the ghost!
Spook! 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 Spook!
I was like,
Spook!"
whoa. Volum sent me. Calm.
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, damn. Ooh, that's good. That's a 16.
He says, "Oh, nice spook. Nice spook.
Friend spook. Okay. Now.
Friend spook."
Oh, God. They did not tell me he was not that bright. Let's see if I can explain this. Okay. Will you help me help Volan? Yes?
Yes, like Volum.
Like Volan. Okay,
He's
good.
friend.
So I'll explain to first of all, what's your name?
My name Thun.
Thun. Okay. Thun. So what I need you to do, Thun, is head to this bush. You will find 2 powder kegs. Can you carry both?
Me strong.
You strong. Okay. I want you to grab both of them and bring them into the barracks. Okay. Hopefully in a little, you will see Zoria.
Not little, you little.
No. Okay. You big. You're right. You big.
I big. I strong.
You strong. Big strong. As a fucking idiot. Anyways. You bring kegs to barracks.
They go boom?
Yes, they go boom, but you wait. You wait till go boom. Okay?
Oh.
You wait.
I don't like to wait.
Oh, it's okay. They make big boom. They're one more. All 3 of them make big boom, but you gotta wait.
Okay.
And then you may kill
after.
Okay.
I go get them. Then he grabs some random person walking by, plants him in front, and says, "You stay. I go get boom." And then starts walking away.
Oh, God, I hope Zoria knows how to deal with him.
The man looks very, very confused, but he's not one to go against Thun.
Okay. So I guess after you...
He just kind of sits down on the barrel there and waits.
After that, I'm going to head to the captain's hut. Same way, kind of fly up. And as I'm flying, kind of keep an eye out to see if I see Zoria walking around
Yeah,
or out and about.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. Ooh, that one's good. Is it a perception check?
Yep.
Gotta look at my right character sheets. It's a 15.
15. Yeah, you notice she's weaving in between tents. She seems to be scouring the grounds, making sure there's no one here that isn't supposed to be here.
Okay. So I'm going to go down to where, when she's kind of at a point where there's no one around, so as she's scouring, whichever time she gets by herself or kind of away from people, I'm going to come and try to talk to Zoria here.
As you come down, you see her, and you've known her for a long time. Again, you and her husband were drinking buddies up until he got married and you got sober.
Yeah.
And she says, as she sees you float down, she looks around frantically and says, Dovin, I didn't even know you died.
As I come down, just shh, shh.
Oh, right, you were sent away. What are you doing back here? He will kill you with the silver.
It's not the current problem. Okay, Volan is going to take this fortress tonight. I left.
My husband is blind. How would he ever do this?
We've got a plan, but I need you to do something for me.
I feel like he always has a plan.
Yeah. Anyways, I left. There are 2 powder kegs in the barracks. Could you take one and put it behind? What the fuck is his name? The captain's tent.
Ulfric.
Yes.
Ulrich.
Can you do that?
You want me to blow up the chief?
In sense, yes.
I'd be glad to.
I thought so. That's why I found you.
The man rides me as if I was a steed.
Yeah.
No one has even tried to do that since that night. You got far too drunk at our wedding.
Now's not the time to reminisce.
Agreed.
We got a time frame.
So these kegs are these kegs already at the barracks?
Yes, they're already at the barracks. I'll go with you because I honestly don't trust Thorn to light it at the right time.
You entrusted Thune with explosives.
Yes. And after I talked to him, I realized my mistake. But I've got to get back.
You've ruined my husband's plan. You see this, right?
Yeah. I guess we'll have to make do if that happens. But anyways, the plan is when you hear the first explosion go off, light yours and be ready for what comes next. I assume Dovin knows where the flagpole is, right?
Yeah, it's very prominent, right in the middle of everything.
Is he able to raise the flag? Can he
you
put
would
a
actually
flag
be able
on
to
it?
You can do that.
Okay. And for the fuses of gunpowder, actually, how long does it take for them to go? Would Dovin know that, I guess?
Judging by the fuses on the ones that were given to you, you would know a little bit about explosives because you're Dovin.
Yeah.
You got roughly 15 seconds after it's lit.
15 seconds. Okay. So, I guess that's what I'll head back to the barracks with Zarya, kind of keeping an eye out, making sure no one sees her, scoping it out from above, sneaky Dovin style.
Dovin is sneakiest.
Yeah. By the time we get to the barracks, would Thune be back?
As you get to the barracks, Zarya sees a random man standing in front of the barracks, and she's like, "What is?" And then you see down the street Thune walking with 2 big-ass powder kegs with a huge smile on his face.
He's on time. Trust Thune.
And she'll walk up to the man and say, "You're dismissed. Go away." And then he kind of looks, and then he looks at Thune, and he's like, he doesn't know which one to be more scared of. I'm gonna roll. Hold on.
Poor guard, you know.
It's not even a guard. It's just a random drunk guy.
Just out for
So yeah,
stroll.
he's more scared of Zarya, so he leaves. Thune looks angry at him and then sees Zarya, and she's waving and she has a friendly smile on her face, and she's a lot like a kindergarten teacher.
Very nice.
So he walks up and he goes, "Thune, boom." She says, "Yes,
Like,
very
yes.
nice. Please put them down." Okay, and then he just drops them.
Oh.
They do not blow up.
Whew.
Yeah, you see a horrified look on her face. Good job, Thune. And she looks over her shoulder at you.
Okay, so we're gonna Zara. How long would it take you to get to the tent with this keg?
2 minutes at a trot.
2 minutes. Okay, once you get there, light it. Okay, Thune, can you play a game for 2 minutes, and then we will light.
I
the
like
keg.
games. I like games.
Okay. Is your weapon silver? The game is going to be to hurt Dovin for 2 minutes. Okay.
He brings out a club.
There you go.
Silver. It's wood.
Ah,
It's strong.
then
Silver
we should be
weak.
fine. Agreed. Don't ever use silver.
And he just starts swinging at you as you dodge.
This was all assuming that unless it's silver, Dovin can't be hurt by it. Am I wrong? If so, Dovin's going to get hit.
You are wrong.
Okay. Dovin...
But he rolled a 2 on his attack, so I think you're all right.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm fine.
As you dodge and weave and have a little fun with Thune, and then you're like counting in your head, and you think it's been about 2 minutes.
Okay, Thune. Stop. Thune blow. Thune blow up. Light.
Thune make go boom.
You make go boom and then you move. You go away from boom.
Oddly enough, there's no one around here because everyone just saw Thune walking through with powder kegs, and they've all left. And so Thune takes it out and sets it in the middle of the street rather than in the barracks where he was hiding it, where you had it hidden.
Thune. No, Thune.
And then starts trying to spark it. He's already trying to spark the thing, the fuse.
Thune, no. In the building. In the building.
But that's weapons. Weapons no go boom.
They go boom. You got club. You don't need weapons. In the building. Oh god. As I just book it. I go to the flag pole. I was like, you know what, Thune? Just get away from it at least.
Thune, the last thing you see is Thune throw it into the tent. Thune make go boom. And then he starts running away as fast as he can.
Oh, Thune.
As you're flying towards, people start noticing a ghost flying over their heads. You're counting your head. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Boom! And you're about halfway to the flagpole. And then you start counting your head, listening for the other explosions. Roughly 15 seconds later, you hear one go off, and a couple seconds after that, the other one goes off. And you can see as you reach the flagpole, the North Tower falls, and there's a big explosion from somewhere off by the North Tower. You attach the flag, and you quickly raise it, and you just watch utter chaos start breaking out. And you see several people around you. They're coming to attack the ghost. They see the flag go up, and they look at each other, and they turn and they start attacking their allies.
Sweet. Yeah.
And that's where we'll end this week's session.
Oh. Next week I get to kill.
So yeah, that's been session 23.
Dovin
I
cast
gave
Thunderwave.
Thunderwave.
You know, Dovin acted with a lot more intelligence than he probably should have.
That's fine.
Something
He
about
gave
being sober.
explosives to a half ogre.
True, true. Sober Dovin gets an extra, +3 to intelligence.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, like I said, my take on Ravnica is a little bit different than most, I'm assuming. But this has been fun. I can't wait to do this again next week.
Yeah, this is a really fun session.
Hopefully we have our monk next week, because he may be needed with sudden terrorist attacks happening in the swamps.
Led by Dovin.
Led by Dovin, of all people.
A go.
And the infiltration in the Izzet League. That happened
And
twice
the
in a single day.
Izzet already knows about it, which is interesting. So yeah, until next week.
By lying.
But until next week, this is Curse on Dice, session 23. Please do not forget to check out the Absolute Tabletop Official RPG group on Facebook. Until then, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.